The sound of Hope's footsteps echoing off of the stonework are the first thing that we hear. Very quickly, they stop as he enters this large circular space behind what was once a mirror, and the sound of echoing like a light cuts out. Down into the depths, he plunges. 10 seconds down, finds a torch on the wall. It is getting very hard to see Hope.
Get a flint, light it ablaze.
In the same instant that the torch flares to life, face of Amon, for a second we can make out the form of him carrying a swaddled cloth down into the depths before Hope continues. It is a long, long path, but finally you come to a landing. You couldn't guess how far it is. All you know is that even if you look back up the way you came, there's nothing but darkness.
I think Hope would call out to Amon. He would say, "Wait, I'm right here."
If he hears you, he doesn't acknowledge you. He doesn't say anything. You take a step forward and he's gone. But where he was standing, concentric circles ringed around one another. One in the middle, one on either end of that. And on the opposite side, a massive golden door. Hope it stretches high up into the darkness, beyond what your meager torchlight provides you. But you can see 7 spires carved out of this seamless gold. It looks like clouds, but you immediately recognize this as a septagrammic board, the most ornate you've ever seen. And inside of, and at the very center of, are 7 separate seals, each of them ending in a smaller circle, each of them in a different position away from the center.
He'll whisper by the 7. He's gonna inspect it to see if there's some type of secret to find.
Give me a perception check. You look over this massive door. There's no knob, there's no lock, there's no anything other than that ornate display that's the same gold that everything else here is. Only it's not tarnished.
I put my hands upon it.
Warmth radiates from it, and very quickly that warmth turns and builds to a dread heat. There's a almost overwhelming sense of danger. You take a step back, your hand comes back into the folds of your robes. Hope, there's a very slight chittering sound that you can hear behind you. Incessant kind of scraping noise, and when you turn to see it, there is a woman. Dave, I don't know if Hope considers such things, but she is an attractive woman. She's not wearing a whole lot. Her hair kind of folds over her torso. She's just kind of laughing, and that's the source of this sound.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
This is my home.
She kind of looks up, extends her hands. Not much of a home, is it?
Never seen you around.
Of course you haven't. You wouldn't know where to look. May I ask what it is you're trying to do?
My master, he came down this way. He must know what's going on.
There is no master here. You stand on the precipice of the door that frees you from such terms. I expected that was why you were here. Are you not here to be free? Young Hope, sweet Hope. She strides towards you and extends a finger and traces along your cheek before walking past you to the door. Opportunity knocks so seldomly. Our master, he means a great deal to you, doesn't he?
He nods.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but everyone here is gone. The city, it is in ruins. None survived. Do you wish to know the price of their deaths?
I think Hope would drop to one knee and they nod again.
It's okay, she says as she extends a hand and puts it on your shoulder. It's all right. You don't need to cry. No one can bring them back. But they died so that you might live. What good is their sacrifice if you squander it in sorrow? And she lifts your chin with one finger. gazing down into your eyes. You see no color to her iris, just hungry emptiness.
Who are you?
I have seen your fate, Hope, and I have seen how it extends beyond what ties you. There will come a day where you will leave your home. There will be but one tool with which you might find the answers you so desperately seek. It lies just beyond this door. She extends her hand out openly, pointing towards this massive slab of gold. You can roll a religion check. This door, it would be impossible to open it all at once because this is what is known in your monastery's belief as the seven sigils of Avalon. It is a most sacred and most holy artifact.
I'm gonna walk towards it, guessing the first one's compassion. Because as I am now, I can save no one. Must move forward.
You place your hand upon the door. You can feel that warmth very quickly turn to heat, and you step through. It's like molten gold. Your very veins plunged into the substance, most pure and most holy, and you feel yourself being remade in the very fires that first brought it to this world. The door begins to swim and run like lava as the patterns wave. The first of the concentric rings in the circles moves down into the very center, and with Hope's body spread-eagled inside, it rotates inwards and a brilliant light flashes, consuming the pattern. Hope, you come to. Just as Yara is arriving back to camp, she's got a big old Bessie in tow. I don't know, Yara, are you proud of yourself?
Probably more tired than anything and just happy to have the horse back. Proud would have been preventing her from running off in the first place.
That's absolutely fair. There's a big snapping sound as the horse comes over and just like kicks over the pack that caused all of this nonsense and just like sits itself down and goes to sleep. Piddly Nosh, right there next to the woman of the wood. The horse doesn't even seem to care at this point, just so exhausted, like it's worn out, man. You see Hope beginning to like stir on the ground over there while the woman is sitting like by the cooking pot. Yara, what do you do?
I go and I take a seat beside Hope, kind of look over at him and then over to the woman and ask, is he doing better?
He is stirring. I think this good sign, but probably bad sign, actually. Probably need more potion. Wait, if he's stirring, that mean it's at this point Merrick and Jasper come into view on the southern side of camp, bloody shirt in tow.
Literally just doing a happy wave as we're approaching.
Eric just hoists up the heart.
Yara does a very tired wave back, just, hey.
Well, that was a mess. Is Hope actually awake now, or like just beginning to...
Hope, make me a fortitude save. This is either going to get better or it's going to get worse. Stabilized, conscious, veins still pulsating with thick poison. Hope is able to at least incline himself to see the people that have brought what will save his life.
My friends, what are you doing here?
I'm here to help you, but save your breath.
The woman of the wood holds out her hands for the heart.
Eric hands it over.
You did very good to bring this, just in time too. It seems sleepy time beverage wore off and Hope is not long for world now. It goes faster if you're awake. Can't give another one either. Oh, he goes to sleep forever. She starts taking the heart and putting it into the cooking pot. It immediately bursts with this purple blue flame, carrying up into this green smoke that rises into the sky above. Instantly, the heart is rendered down as a part of the substance. She takes the cooking pot, pours the substance into a stoneware cup, and hands it over, like just thrust it into your chest, Hope. Drink or you die.
He glugs it.
Oh, that's disgusting. Give me a moment, and he's just gonna go around and go throw behind the cart.
Hope, do you remember when you made that energy drink for everybody on the first day of the road?
Oh yeah.
It's like 3 times as bad as that. It's just like, oh, the overwhelming hopper that coats your throat. It's like it feels like it's never gonna go away. It's horrid. But as soon as you finish the last drop, agony courses through your veins, Hope. Starting at your heart, the black veins sizzle and burn from the inside as if you're going to erupt from within. And then, in a minute, it passes. And Hope is no longer afflicted. You have saved your friends.
Hey.
Mortal Coil is sponsored by Birdie Maps. Whether you need a top-of-the-line dungeon for a long-form campaign, a coherent series for a one-shot, or something non-specific for a random encounter, Birdie has everything you could possibly need for your fantasy TTRPG. A common problem you run into sourcing maps online is if they're too small, it can be overwhelming to be faced with that much detail. If they're too large, they tend to skew towards being too generic, making it difficult for your players to know what they're looking at. As a long-term dungeon master, Birdie understands that the best maps are large enough to tell a grand tale, yet granular enough to provide for meaningful engagement with your players. Being a DM of 10 years, I'm always looking for any tools that can save me prep time. With Birdie Maps, it's as easy as downloading the file, importing it, and you're ready to run the game. Check them out over at patreon.com/birdiemaps for all your fantasy cartography needs. That's patreon.com/BIRDIEMAPS. Mortal Coil is sponsored by The Shady Sale. From dice cases to minis, hand-painted art to commissions, The Shady Sale has it all. With their new custom color cosplay horns, you can show up to session in style and be the tiefling your table always knew you could be. Need something specific that you can't find anywhere else? Find them on Ko-Fi and ask about custom 3D prints to bring your ideas to the tabletop. We're incredibly proud to announce that you can get your very own custom Necronomulus dice case only at ko-fi.com/theshadysale. This beautiful resin case stores your dice for the drive to the DM's place and absorbs sunlight on the way over, causing it to glow in the dark with the violet fires of undeath. Pick yours up to receive +3 to your spell save DC today. Necronomulus dice case available by manufacturer request only. Sentient spell storing version temporarily unavailable. If you or someone you know purchased one, the whispers in the dark promising power are normal. Talk to your cleric if symptoms persist more than 66 days. Mortal Coil is not responsible for the state of your spell save DCs, attack rolls, saving throws, or class feats. Check with your DM to see if necromancy is right for you. Check out ko-fi.com/theshadysale for any and all TTRPG swag. That's ko-fi.com/theshadysale. Hey folks, just wanted to take a moment to say thanks for watching. All of us at Mortal Coil put hours of work in each week to make this podcast as immersive as possible and build as compelling of a world as we can. If you'd like to support us, you can find us over at patreon.com/DMDMstudios, where you can get access to all of the maps, monsters, and more that we make for this campaign for as low as $3 a month. Peruse our library of art, maps, and tokens for use in your home games. Read our World Anvil archives for whatever ideas you want to use in your setting, and get exclusive behind-the-scenes content like Mortal Forge, our in-depth look at the monsters, mechanics, and math that makes up Mortal Coil. The first 10 patrons to sign up to our $10 a month Lich tier will receive an exclusive Mortal Coil t-shirt, available only to them once these slots are filled, so don't miss out. Thanks again to our listeners. We want to extend a very heartfelt thank you to our sponsors. And now, back to the show. It's about an hour into the nighttime, what we might call twilight. This world has a very long twilight period, and the sun is finally cresting itself over the horizon. There's a small fire just outside the shrine. The mutilated forms of the bodies therein are still, I have not heard if you are planning on removing them from in there so you guys can sleep inside the shrine, but if you are going to do so, now would be the time to tell me.
Merrick would.
Give me a fortitude save, Merrick.
I'll take it.
Not the first time you've had to deal with rotten corpses.
Yeah, I can help him.
Merrick would tell him he's going to do it by himself. You need to rest.
I cheer him on from my bed.
So as you're taking these bodies out, you can see the bear Piddly Nosh kind of coming up behind you, Merrick. Its big hulking form, just like sniffing after the body, like looking like it's got a snack that it didn't know was hiding here all along. These bodies should be far more rotten than they are, as if the decay is kind of prolonged and the scent isn't really hitting you until you get them outside of the shrine. Just how terrible it is. You are able to hold yourself together. Again, not the first time that you've had to deal with rotten corpses, but the whole camp is now smelling of corpse rot. What do you guys do about that?
We could burn the bodies.
I have to concur with that. I certainly don't want this place to be smelling like corpses the whole time, so I'd say either bury or burn. I would say maybe we might want to consider burial. We are getting closer to the town. I'd hate to alert someone that we're on the way, especially if we might be expecting bandits to be there.
Good point. I'll get to work. Eric will start digging a shallow grave.
This will help, honestly. It's not the first time he said to bury bodies either.
Okay. Jasper, go ahead and make a fortitude saving throw for me, please.
You got it. Let's go.
Very nice. Okay, so Jasper, you find a perfect place with that crit to bury these bodies. And as you and Merrick are bringing them over, there's a slight breeze that pushes away the corpse stink just long enough for you to catch the most herbaceous rosemary. And right next to where you plopped your shovel down, there's this viney growth that is spreading along a tree. Some weird mixture of natural rosemary and whatever's going on in this shrine-touched wood.
Can I make a farming lore check to see whether or not I know that's edible?
Sure.
I'm going to use assurance and just get the base proficiency plus 10.
A 14. Okay, so you would know that this is a variant of the normal rosemary that you would see in any given pasture field or forest. It's growing in a weird way. Rosemary doesn't really grow like a vine like that, but the tree's not rejecting it, the tree that it's growing on top of.
Okay. Well, knowing that, he's going to take a couple snippets of that and put it in a pouch and get back to burying the bodies. And I have a feeling he probably might even stuff a little bit of it around, like not in his shirt, because he's not dumb enough to put like random vines into his clothing, but like around where the collar of his thing is, maybe like in between the leather and the cloth, so that the smell helps keep the worst of the stink at bay as we're burying the corpses.
Very nice. Good idea. Okay, so Yara, while Merrick and Jasper are off burying these corpses, the woman of the wood comes over to look at you and says, "Now, you told me you will teach me braiding, please. You had your own little time with the horse, which I see you did not braid, but it is time to teach." She sits down crisscross right in front of you.
I'm trying to think how Yara would react to this. Why am I braiding your hair? Our friend almost died.
Very well then. Piddly, I think that these people pronounced we would be eating with them. Did they not? And she looks back at you, and then she looks behind you to Hope.
Hope is going to nod and say, "Of course, you've helped us immensely."
She gets this slight smile play across her lips and says, "Wonderful, wonderful. What are we having?"
Hope you like lentils.
Her smile kind of turns to a slight frown. "You are certainly joking, yes?"
Of course, of course. Let me go hunting. He goes to the nearby river, hunt some fish.
Okay, so you're gonna go get yourself and the whole crew some fish. Very good. Hope, why don't you go ahead and roll? I think athletics, probably. Otherwise, survival.
I'm gonna do athletics. I'm just gonna snatch him out of the water, toss him out into the river side bed. Oh, I used my hero point. I'm sorry, guys. I failed.
Yeah, no problem. You managed to get yourself, and by your estimation, one for every person, a good thick river bass.
That should do it. He'll toss him over his shoulder, and for some reason, he feels a lot better today.
Yara, what are you going to do while Hope and Jasper and Merrick are gone?
Yara will go prepare the shrine. It relatively tidied up and mats laid out and make it ready for the night.
Give me a perception check then. I would say it probably takes you maybe 10, 15 minutes at most. While you are cleaning out the shrine, the smell fades very, very quickly after the bodies have been removed, and you begin to notice that it has a very subtle underlying scent of the same kind of rich mahogany smell that you might have only smelled like in a temple before if you've ever been inside of one, Yara. There's a slight glow to the statue, and that of the little kitty comes crawling out on the other side of the statue with its lower half still inside. It yawns when you're passing, and it sticks out its little claw to like grab at the hem of your shirt. Like it's like pulling at you, like it's trying to get your attention.
Yara will pause and go over and give it a little pat on the head.
It nuzzles into your hand, but it's got this kind of urgent expression on its face. Like its mouth is closed now that it's finished yawning, and it's giving you these big eyes, and you can see the iris like opening, but then kind of closing a little bit to a slit, and then it's like trying to like look past you, and then it keeps looking at you and then looking past you, as if when the cats think there's somebody at the door or something, they're contemplating if they need to bolt.
Yara just stares back at the cat for a few moments, just like looking at me. I don't understand what's going on, before finally kind of looking behind her to see if there's anything there.
Hidley Nosh is circling the camp, eating the scraps of the fish that they pulled from the river a few hours before. And you can see this flicker of green light to their eyes. They're acting like they've been acting the whole day. It's just a strange film over their eyes, or maybe it's just the light or something. It looks quite strange.
Roll an Arcana check to see if Yara knows anything about animals' eyes glowing in an odd way.
Wow.
Don't say anything. I don't want to jinx it.
Yara, you are familiar with the concept that has been used to sway mass amounts of people to do a lot of different things. And I'm not talking about gold. I'm not talking about the ephemeral idea of power. I'm talking about a spell, a very powerful spell that, as you understand it, is forbidden. Definitely from your clan, definitely from all of the Star Septs. And as you understood it, like, nobody was supposed to use that. Like, just period. Like, that is off the table.
Given my high roll, would I know if this look in the eyes that comes about when you're enchanted, if that only happens after you've been enchanted, or if it's something that's might not all, like maybe they were already enchanted, but their eyes only look this way during, I don't know, a certain time of day. Yara's just trying to figure out if it seems like the bear was just enchanted this evening, or has always been enchanted since they've known it.
There's always a tell to enchantment magic, no matter how powerful it is. It's like the aura that this shrine is giving off is basically acting like a lens, and you can see a glint in this creature's eyes, and you are pretty sure that's what's going on here.
Okay, so then there's a very good chance the bear has been enchanted the entire time that we've known it, at least.
That's a fair assessment.
And the number one suspect as to who would enchant a bear probably be the bear's owner that mysteriously has not been killed by this giant wild animal. Even if you raise it from a cub, I don't think we've noticed any major scars or any indication that the woman has even accidentally been harmed by this bear.
She's got flawless skin on, actually.
Or is thinking that's suspicious now. Initially, she had been kind of impressed that this woman could keep such a creature as a pet, for lack of a better term. Now she thinks that is very odd. Would occultism help me at all? Because if it's something that's typically forbidden, even for people who are doing magic that's typically frowned upon, that sounds like something that maybe the occult would practice in.
Make it a blind GM roll. You have one question.
Do I sense anything or see anything about the woman that would lead me to believe that is more powerful at magic than initially assumed.
If she has enthralled a bear, she is incredibly powerful. With the bindings that you had placed on your Ortis severed, and you now being able to feasibly and reliably call upon your power, you just noticed it now, but as soon as you got back with Bessie, your left hand started going numb. You've considered that the feeling maybe misuse or something, but now that you're focusing on it, it's not going numb. It's really, really hot. It's so hot that it's like there is almost no sensation whatsoever except for this heat.
That certainly can't be good.
And then you register that it's in your bloodstream.
Considering it just came about when I returned to camp, Yara's gonna go grab a torch and head into the woods, yelling to the party, going to get some more firewood, be back in a few moments, and just gets as far away from the camp as she feels comfortable leaving, just to see if there's any change now.
You go until sensation returns to your hand.
Well, I start with going how far I would probably go for firewood if I was actually getting firewood, and see what happens then. Kind of pushing the boundaries of how far someone would typically stray from camp.
Once you get there, you are still,
I think it's probably the forest then, and maybe not the lady herself. Yara will return to camp with like 2 pieces of firewood. Just like, oh, I just couldn't find any more. You'd think a forest, you'd find a lot of wood, but surprisingly no.
That's, no accounting for trying, I suppose. And you just go back to chopping wood. How are we cooking that food, by the way? How are we cooking that fish? Because I got some rosemary right here. I'm willing to throw on it for y'all. Just saying.
yeah, so that's a really good point.
Of course, no one else knows how to cook.
I know how to make the food, not necessarily how to prepare it.
Well, apparently I'm a great cook, so you guys are welcome.
Jasper's just gonna, like, before you start, just, like, give you the rosemary and be like, hopefully it helps.
Merrick, what are you doing after burying the bodies? Are you just gonna like hang out? Are you gonna do anything else? I just want to know.
I am going to try to get a read on our friend here, the woman of the... Because, yeah, she's helped us. She helped save Hope's life. It's her deal. And he's just going to kind of like, not obviously, but just try to get like a happening here.
Okay, so you need to talk to her for a minute, right?
I just need to look at them.
That's fucking cool, man. You notice that her skin is, as I mentioned earlier, flawless, as if she's never taken a scrape in her entire life. She's wearing these raggedy fabric made of fur and probably some kind of flax spun from threads out in the wilds. It happens about right at the end of that minute. The figure that you are looking at for the briefest of moments, Merrick, looks hazy like a mirage on a hot summer day. And then it flickers back to normal immediately. She has a very strange sense of body language. You get that she is very tense.
Eric's going to go over to her.
It is good to see you, Slayer,
What are you?
the woman of the wood.
What are you?
We are all many things.
Why did you help us?
Pidley Nosh decided that you were good people. Trust his sense.
What are you really?
When she gives you this like shy grin, you see past that. You see the whatever it is that's coiled up inside, just ratcheting tighter and tighter, getting ready to spring or flee or something.
While I see that happen, I go, there it is. There's the real you. What are you?
Such things cannot be explained with words.
Then show me.
Yara, I'll say you can see this happening as well from where you are now. You're still inside of the shrine at this point, but you can see what's going on here.
Cultism check then.
When she puts her hands together, she begins making a series of gestures and symbols that are far unlike anything that you have ever had to learn or practice, Yara. The traditions that you were taught by your elders, they did not look anything like this. And very subtly, very gently, there was just a breeze in the trees, and suddenly it stops. Merrick, when you watch her turn from this beautiful young woman into a motherly crone, she smiles that same smile at you and says, that is better. Not having to stretch my form out feels somehow more natural. She's all hunched over now. Yara, the symbols and the gestures that she was making was not breaking a spell or ending a spell's effects. It was casting another one.
Feel like she still has some type of spell or disguise on.
Perception. First thing that you notice, Yara, is that I'll say that this is probably the same thing that Merrick notices, but Merrick gets caught up on this and doesn't start looking any further. She's changed the gender of Pidleynosh several times. Yara, you are pretty sure that the spell that she cast on herself just now is the same one that she had cast on her before.
Where is everyone else in the camp?
Hope is setting up the table. He's making this a very special one for a very grand lady.
That you're oblivious to the obvious tension happening in the camp, and you're just like, oh, gotta put the forks here and make it look all nice.
Hope likes to see the best in strangers, especially the kind ones, you know.
As far as Jasper goes, I feel like he's probably been over by the horse, and he's double checking he was probably double checking like the loot that he got from the cave. He was going to be broaching that with you guys shortly, like, hey, by the way, there's a bunch of stuff. We should probably look through it, and you guys should probably pick some of this, because he really isn't the kind of person to hoard that kind of wealth. That's not him. But I feel like he's doing it very lackadaisically. There's no rush. So he's probably looking around and just enjoying the fact that he's outside. And he's not in the city. He doesn't have to worry about the dinge or the smell, occasionally dodging people emptying their chamber pots out of like the second floor. He's enjoying being in the middle of nowhere. So I figure he might be receptive enough if you're trying to get attention from it. That's what I'm getting at.
I was seeing if there was anyone within earshot where Yara could subtly let them know what's going on. But seems like she might just have to say it out loud.
The little kitty is pulling on your pant leg, like with its claw, like to get your attention again. And like looks like it's gonna pounce, like it's trying to find the right angle to get up on your shoulder from where it's at. And then once you like stopped moving, it leaps up, wraps around you, and then like looks to Hope, and then looks to Jasper, and then it looks at you. You're getting the energy from this cat, like, who do you want me to go to?
I look over at Jasper.
It steps forward, and its front half disappears, and then its back half fades after it. Jasper, you begin to feel a very, as I put it last time, subtle weight of about 5 to 6 pounds on your shoulders forming. It starts pawing at you, like at your ear.
Hey there, relax. It's fine. Nothing here for you to play with, but and he's sort of gonna look up and turn around, and I imagine the cat is getting his attention to make him look back at Yara.
As soon as you look at the cat, it stiffens up, almost like a hunting dog, pointing back at Yara, and you double take and then see Yara in the shrine.
Once we make eye contact, I subtly lower my hand to where my dagger is in an obvious, kind of get ready motion before looking back over at what is now Crone.
Jasper is going to follow your eyes and where your hand is going, and his hands reflexively go towards his scabbards, partially upwards, when he sees you reaching for your weapon, and he follows your eyes. His eyes widen a little bit.
I want to say we get this top-down view of everyone in camp. Merrick right next to this woman with his sword, Yara getting ready to go, Jasper reaching up for his weapons, and Hope perfectly setting, making sure the diamond fold on the napkin is perfect. And
I think he's making a flower arrangement, actually.
Damn it, dude.
You can all hear a very calm, very collected whisper, as if it's coming over your right ear. Now, is that any way to treat a guest?
I feel like Jasper just like turn around and look for the source of the sound and just a little startled, and he'd say that out loud, like loud enough for everyone to hear it. He's not going to be discreet about it.
Yara just immediately draws her bow and an arrow. She doesn't fire, but she just has it pointed at the crone. It's like, say the word.
Merrick doesn't draw his weapon.
I think Hope would come out, see what's happening. I rush in between everybody. I'm like, hey, just not do anything we'll regret, and try to diffuse the situation. Be like, no matter what we look like, she's here to help.
Yara just says back, it's not her appearance that concerns me.
Jasper's going to lower his hands from his blades. Considering that you have been alone with Hope, and he is still here, and you have been nothing but pleasant, I doubt you mean us any harm. I see no reason to draw blades on you. Though I appreciate your transparency. It would have been nicer if it was a little more forthcoming, perhaps.
Reciprocity is the basis for your entire civilization, as I understand it.
I am not civilized.
I've done nothing but help you.
You lied to us.
I never lied.
You concealed who you were. Reciprocity means nothing under false pretenses.
Our deal was I receive a meal for saving your friend from a fate worse than death.
You can have your meal, but you will not have it here.
I do hope it's delicious, she says with relish.
Yara's gonna step up and hit the woman and say, I think you should just leave without anything, and I want to use quick coercion.
I shall leave without my due. There are sayings about not keeping your deal with one such as I, but just myths, surely. Just like the beasts of this wood. Come, Bidley Nosh. We are not wanted. They will not feed us.
Wait. From where Jasper is standing, he's going to watch this and reach into his pouch and walk over towards her. And he's going to put in her hand a little pouch of not the whole group's rations, but his portion of the rations that he got from Joaquin's cooking, and put it into her hand. Regardless of what you may be, you saved my friend. I owe you a debt. And I am no lord, but I recognize the value of good food. It is yours.
She takes it willingly, and with a very satisfied smirk on her face, you see her burning green eyes fixate on yours, and this is the first time that you can really recall, Jasper, her really looking dead at you like this.
Mm-hmm.
You feel the same way that you felt when you were just about to have to rush a front line. You were going to have to try to break through a shield wall or do something really stupid. There's this rise inside of yourself, this gorge that you can feel, this yearning to meet that challenge. And there's an equal measure of wanting to get the hell out of there. Now, there's a man who knows to keep a bargain. She shoves the whole thing in her mouth at once. It looks kind of weird, as if it shrinks once it gets to her lips, like just literally the whole thing. There are many things in this world that will stand against you. Just like that knight with his precious compass and his dying brothers. She's at the tree line at this point. I do hope you find safety in these woods. And when you arrive where it is you're going, for your success. She stalks off into the woods with her bear behind her. The weight of tension eases off of all of your shoulders.
Yara turns to Jasper. You know, in my clan they have a saying about not trusting old women in the woods. Translated to common, it goes, don't trust old women in the woods.
I think Jasper would laugh about that for a second. probably nervously, because I think even though he didn't draw his blades, his hands have been like, like gripped. He's got like his fingernail imprints like deep in his palms. Just, oh. Yes, but where I come from, you invite someone into your home, and you make an agreement with them. You follow through. Even if they aren't in keeping with the spirit of it, it reflects on you. And I've heard enough fairy tales to know what happens when you spurn creatures that live in the woods. I'll live without Joaquim's rations. I'm going to miss those ribs, though.
Merrick walks over and wordlessly plants his take of Joaquin's rations in your hand. And then he sits down to eat the meal that Yara made.
A nod of appreciation from Jasper.
Yara will also go and eat and give a portion of her fish to little kitty friend.
Oh, the little kitty's so happy.
It's probably hungry too.